Now, since we already sort of have broached the subject some, we should talk about Kyle Saunders. We should talk about Kyle Saunders, who gets our honorable distinction of being the first person put into the white nationalist category. He is the white nationalist captain. Kyle Saunders, KKK Kyle Saunders, is the white nationalist captain. And you know what? I did not do a proper way of appointing KKK Clyde as the captain of the white supremacist team. We need to look up the definition of supremacist. All right, we want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. So let's look up this we'll look up the definition of supremacist, have a critical conversation about that, then look up the definition of nationalist, have a critical conversation about that, and then we'll talk about why KKK Kyle Saunders is a white nationalist, and KKK Clyde from Old City Hall Apartments is a white supremacist, who one engages in white vigilantism. KKK Clyde engages in white vigilantism. Kyle Saunders, when he's spraying the chalk and tearing down the memorials, he's not engaging in white vigilantism. He works for an institution he works for a white nationalist institution. He buys into the ideology of that white nationalist institution, and so he gets employed to espouse his ideology and actions, like tearing down memorials. So he doesn't need to do it in a vigilante form. He's employed to do it. The power structure is paying him to do it. So supremacist definition. The definition of supremacist. Now, a person who believes that a particular group, especially one determined by race, religion, or sex, is superior and should therefore dominate society. Adjective. Hold on, my fault, y'all. I'm trying to make sure I get all these definitions. Adjective. Supporting the belief that a particular group, especially one determined by race, religion, or sex, is superior and should therefore dominate society. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now, and this might be a hard pill for some of y'all to swallow because of things y'all done heard your uncle say at dinner, or your aunt say at dinner, or your granddad, or your grandma, your dad, or your mom, or whatever. But anybody that is just out here calling people niggers believes in the inferiority of black people and believes in the superiority of white people. And for this man to say typical nigger, oh damn, my fault. I tried to make that. I should have said Kobe. Oh, I made it. I said Kobe. I made it. Okay. That's the ideology. Those is the words of a white supremacist. Those is the words of someone anybody who has the word nigger in their vocabulary and at their disposal to use in situations in which they feel that they should be used. That's somebody who believes that inherently white people are superior to black people, that there's a section of black people that are less than. It's the reason why he said, oh, well, he's not one. He's not one. And the same thing. The fact that this man is, and again, I hate to be the one to say this, but the fact that this man is 60 years old and plus almost puts you in a place where it's unlikely he's not a fucking racist. It's almost unlikely he's not a bigot. It's almost unlikely he's not a white supremacist. That is the definition of supremacist. We should get into the definition of supremacism. We should get into the definition of supremacy real quick. And again, and I think that this is a thing that I don't say enough. This is a false ideology. White nationalism, even though I don't agree with white nationalism, is a more concrete ideology than white supremacy. The idea that you are going to be be dedicated to the further advancement of people who are considered to be white in this country. The idea that you are going to buy into all the things that are considered to be advancements made by white people in this country is an ideology that is more concrete, whether I agree or disagree with it, than the idea that white people inherently are superior to black people or supreme to black people or more intelligent or more intellectual than black people. And again, the main reason is that this country, it's never been a step forward that's been made in this country without black people and people of color being at the helm of it happening. The first true advantage this country had on other countries to build their power was slavery, was slave labor. So how can you even have the idea that you're supreme or superior to a set of people when you couldn't even get the country off the ground without that set of people? The same thing, the land. This isn't, we're not in Europe. We don't live in Europe. Even the idea of white supremacy would be a little bit more founded in a place where the more years you go back, it's just all shit that white people done did that's great. You go to Britain, all the white, and again, people argue about this. They talk about the Moors and things. We just having a surface level, we having a critical conversation, but we going only to the surface level on certain things. If we lived in a land, if Illinois, when you went back 100 years, 200 years, 400 years, 800 years, 1500 years, 2000 years, all the history of Illinois was all shit white people had done, all lands and things white people had cultivated. You might be in a place where you can have some type of white supremacy talk. But after you get to about 400 years back, 500 years back, the white people not even here no more. 600 years back, they not even here no more. So you can't even have a genuine conversation about the land that extends back to the beginning of it, in which white people even still have an existence in it. And so to be in America and to be white supremacists in 2021 is such a backwards ideology. But there and still, that is where we are at. And so we are going to put we got a little bit off track there. But we're going to put KKK in the white supremacist group. Now, Kyle Saunders, we are going to put him in the white nationalist group. And I'm going to say this about, and we're going to look up the definition of white nationalism. But before I say anything else, I'm going to say this about white nationalism. I'm going to light my blunt up right after I say this too. When I say nothing, I do mean nothing. There is nothing more characteristic of white nationalism than weaponizing the police. It's nothing more characteristic of white nationalism than weaponizing the police. Somebody might say to themselves, well, no. The army, what about the army? The army or the government, The army and the government, things of that nature, are highly divisive, even within Republicans and Democrats, highly divisive. Policing is something that if you a Democrat and you running for office, you're not getting up there and having anything divisive about the police to say. If you a Republican running for office, you're not getting up there and having nothing divisive to say when it comes to policing. Police in America are intertwined like this. In America, police are believed to be able to do no wrong. In America, when you want to scare somebody, especially if you are white, when you want to scare somebody or get somebody to stop doing something or to do something, you say, I'm going to call the police. 911. And so, Kyle Saunders, the first time I ever had any interaction with Kyle Saunders, guess who he was standing next to? The police. He came out on October, came out the 3rd, we see the 3rd, here the 4th. Came out October 5th. 6 people will be arrested. Multiple people will be assaulted, have their human rights violated. Came out and said, you have to move to this designated protest area. And if you don't move to this designated protest area, he didn't say the words under arrest. But it was implied. He was there with police officers. And while being there with police officers, one of the things that he did, one of the cops had a baton already out. He had his baton out and as they like you pull up, they start out small and you like whip them or whatever, and they come out, they get long, they get extended. He already had it extended. He was already ready to go. And so that is the first interactions that we ever had with Kyle Saunders. Kyle Saunders would be the one who would then give the order for us to be arrested. Kyle Saunders, when people began to write in chalk on the stairs of City Hall to leave messages about police terrorism, mass incarceration, and racial injustice, when people would write in chalk to leave messages about what happened to Tyrus Jones and being shot by the police while he was unarmed and running away, it would be Kyle Saunders who would come out in penny loafers and some khaki pants with a button up, with his shirt tucked into his pants, washing with a broom and a mop bucket chalk away in the early mornings. They over there playing Black Street. It done been about 3 black people on this whole goddamn street. They playing Black Street. They playing Black Street. They playing Black Street. Motherfuckers out here getting killed on the street. Black people out here getting killed on the streets by police out here. They out here having this little event playing Black Street. Lord Jesus. We gonna have a conversation too about separating house Negroes, sellouts, coons, and Uncle Toms. We gonna do that too. Okay, so Kyle Saunders has been in every time the city has come and torn down the memorials. It's Kyle Saunders that's at the head of it, that's leading them. He's the head of Public Works. They come out here destroying the memorials. The first few times they did it, you could see the excuse me, the animosity in these people's eyes. Excuse me, my fault, y'all. I ain't gonna stand. I had to smoke this blunt. It's probably not the best for audio purposes, but for my sanity. My fault. I ain't gonna hit it too many times. I'll put it out a little bit. But anyways, Kyle Saunders and his minions, his white racist minions, all of them white. Everybody who done ever came and tore down these memorials, all white public works workers. Public works officials, whatever, public works employees. The first time they did it, they're cutting these faces. They cutting Lil Mike face up. They cutting Jovan face up. They cutting Eddie Patterson face up, cutting their face ups, ripping them down, cutting their names up, ripping them down. You can watch the videos. You ever seen Zorro, how Zorro do the Z real quick? That's how they was doing it. They doing fucking, like they fucking Zorro with the fucking box cutters, cutting these people's faces up. We would have stuffed animals and candles and balloons and things that really made these memorials look nice, like how they should all the time. And these racist white nationalists came out here picking up the stuffed animals, throwing them in trash bags, picking up the candles, throwing them in trash bags. Tearing down the names and the faces, throwing them in trash bags. And then right after that would happen, a news story would come out. The first time they did it, because they've torn them down 11 times at this point. 11 times they have been the memorials have been torn down. I think 6 of the times it was the Public Works, and maybe 5 times it was the police or something of that nature. But one time, right after tearing them down, they were speaking to the newspaper about why they pushed us from the back or tore down or whatever happened. And one of the things they said is that people have been harassed, that protesters were harassing employees as they were just trying to take trash out. Now, they were talking about the memorials. They say that they weren't talking about the memorials, but the memorials was in trash bags. But the stuffed animals was in trash bags. The balloons, the candles, the pictures, all those things, they put all those things in trash bags. So if they wasn't talking about the memorials, then what was they talking about? And again, each time that they do this, these items we have not got returned. We don't have these items that people have donated and brought down here. For all I know, Kyle Saunders then gave the stuffed animals to his kids or to his aunts and to his nephews and nieces for birthdays and Christmas. And so those are some of the actions of Kyle Saunders. So we're going to throw him in the white nationalist category. What's up? What up? I seen that weak-ass cop that you was telling me about.
Yeah, his ass.
Yeah, I seen his ass when I got booked. What you on? That's it. Where your team at?